how can you find the best trumpet lessons by the best trumpet teacher? The best one for you. That's what this video vlog is going to be about today. And, you know, it's kind of a interesting and obvious question that people don't ask until a lot of times they've gone through several different trumpet instructors and trumpet teachers, you know, for their trumpet lessons. And how did I arrive to conclude that? Well, number one, it happened to me when I was younger. But number two, a lot of people that come to me for my course, especially on trumpet high notes and trumpet upper register, trumpet endurance, all that kind of good stuff, almost always they will have studied from somebody else and not just their local community teacher. I've had people that have studied with Roy Stevens. I've had people that have studied with Bill Adam, Doc Reinhardt, and I've had people that actually studied with Wayne Bergeron. I've had a couple of students that have taken the $120 lesson with Arturo. I've had people that have come from some of my more direct competitors that do a lot of similar things that I do as far as helping trumpet players online with trumpet lessons. So they all arrive at the same conclusion that whatever they were doing might have been okay and might have done them a little bit good, but didn't really get them where they wanted to as far as reaching their goals. So really, in a nutshell, there's two simple things that you can follow to end up with the best trumpet lessons for you by the best trumpet teacher, whether that be an online trumpet teacher or an in-person trumpet teacher as well. So the first thing is, I mean, this is so simple, but I guess even myself when I was younger, I just kind of glossed over it. Study with a trumpet teacher, take trumpet lessons from a trumpet teacher that actually can do what you want to accomplish. That's number one. And number two, you got to make sure that the trumpet teacher you want to take trumpet lessons from has demonstrated results. And that means in the form of students that have already taken from him or her. So those are the two things that we're going to talk about a little bit today. So the first one is pretty straightforward. I mean, let's give you an example. Let's just say that you want to be the best orchestral trumpet player in the world. And orchestral music, chamber music is your thing. And you wanted to find some trumpet lessons by a trumpet teacher that could help you accomplish that goal. Now, if you start taking lessons with me, I can help you out with some of the technique and pedagogy that will enable you to be a better orchestral player, but I've got to be honest, and I'm not going to beat around the bush. I don't play orchestral music all that much. I've never been in the top symphonies. I never have really wanted to, and it's just not my thing. I mean, it's just not my thing. I am not an expert at it, or even close. So if you came to me and studied with me for a couple years, and maybe you've never even told me about your goal, about being an orchestral trumpet player, you're going to get good in certain areas, but wouldn't it be better for you to pick one of the top orchestral guys in your community or nearby community and study with that individual, guys or gals? So that's one example right there. I mean, get with the person that can play the way you want to play. That would be number one. Another example would be, let's flip-flop that. So I just give you a reason why you wouldn't want to take lessons. But I'm not trying to use reverse psychology on you here and steer you away from me. But by and large, the people that actually come to take trumpet lessons with me actually do so because they want to increase their trumpet high notes, their trumpet upper register, their endurance on their trumpet, the strength of their embouchure here for trumpet, all that kind of good stuff. That's why people tend to come to me for lessons. And they also want to learn how to either get in the jazz game as far as commercial jazz and lead trumpet and rock, or they already know how to do that and they want to go up to the next level and really become one of the top tier lead trumpet players. That would be when you start playing books that tend to have a lot of notes in the lead trumpet section above F's and G's, F's and double G's. So that would be your top tier kind of lead trumpet playing, and you already know what that is. Louie Bellson, Buddy Rich, Maynard Ferguson, big fat band stuff. So that, and then there's other lesser known charts in composers and bands, but still have stuff above the F and double G. I mean, that stuff is raunchy and difficult to play. Raunchy in a good way. I mean, it's tough. It's tough stuff, especially when you got to play more than one chart. So if you're taking from the world's greatest second book player, jazz improv, he doesn't really, or she doesn't really do much more than that. That's how they make. Maybe they live in New York, and maybe all they do is just jazz combo, jazz this, jazz at Sunday brunches, all that stuff. And that's all they do. And you were taking lessons from him or her, and just because of the reputation and that they're a good player as a trumpet player, maybe they even have a good reputation as a trumpet lesson teacher. But you never really told them about your goals, and you might spin your wheels with them, for a year before you figured out they're not going to help me become the best lead trumpet player in the world. And the reason is obvious. They don't do lead trumpet that much. They might do it on a gig here or there, but basically they're a jazzer, they're a second book player, or small combo jazz trumpet. So you want to get with someone who specializes, and that brings up kind of the last point of this. There are people that are all-arounders when it comes to trumpet lessons and trumpet teachers. They can pretty much do decent at a lot of the aspects of trumpet. And what I mean by that is you'll get a guy who could sit in on the second book and sound pretty decent. He could also get up there and play some lead. And if we're talking about, I want to say he, I really mean he or she. I'm just using he for simplicity. We can pick the she and say that she could go sit in a jazz combo somewhere. Or she could go in the orchestra and play there. So that's kind of an all-arounder. Maybe they're doing sessions and things like that. But for you, if you really want to accomplish a certain goal, it would be better to really focus on what that goal is and get with someone who specializes and someone who is the best in that particular technique on the trumpet. I'm trying to remember, but I think it was Chet Baker. I'm trying to remember where this came up. It might have been that big 2-hour kind of biography on his life. But he made a remark about how to be successful in life is to find something that you're good at and make sure that you're better at it than everybody else. And then everything else will take care of itself. And I thought that was pretty unique. I thought that was, well, maybe it's not unique, but I thought it was practical and relevant because really you do want to get good at something and be the best at it, right? So it makes sense if you actually want to learn a specific technique on trumpet. You got to take trumpet lessons with a trumpet teacher who is actually an expert in that particular area. So that's kind of last point. So you don't want an all-arounder. All-arounder is good for when you're in 5th grade and junior high and high school, whatever, but I mean, at some point, you'll go into a direction that you really love. Classical, Baroque kind of music, chamber music, or it could be you just love listening to Miles and Chet and Coltrane and all those guys, and you just want to be a jazz trumpet player. So you got to find someone that specializes in that and not an all-arounder. Okay, so we're talking about right now, just to recap, how can you find the best trumpet lessons by the best trumpet teacher out there, whether it be online or in person. And we discussed one of the main points is make sure that particular trumpet teacher can demonstrate the proficiency and expertise in what you actually want to accomplish. So that's very, very important. Now, number 2, just because someone can play and is an awesome trumpet player doesn't necessarily mean that they'll be able to teach you and that you'll be able to get the information that they already got inside your noggin and become that good. I'll give you a couple of interesting 2 cases. And it's very interesting because they're both probably the 2 best trumpet players that walked the face of this earth. Maynard Ferguson, trumpet player Maynard Ferguson, and trumpet player Maurice André. Now, it's interesting and almost a little bit spooky that both had sons that I guess originally started out playing trumpet. I think Maynard's son Bentley actually switched to bass. But anyway, this is all legend. I didn't sit down with Maynard and talk to him about it. But this is what I've heard, and based on it from several accounts, it seems to be pretty much factual. Maynard Ferguson couldn't teach his own son trumpet the way he plays. Listen to that. Maynard Ferguson couldn't show his own son how to play extremely, superbly well like he does on the trumpet with the power and the range and all the stuff that he does. Now, some people might argue, well, who wants to take trumpet lessons from their dad? You know, maybe they don't get along. Well, I mean, you can play devil advocate all you want with these two guys. The bottom line is, when you have a supernatural talent like Maynard Ferguson and Maurice André, a lot of it is talent. Yes, they did work and practice. But my friends, you're talking about two of the most talented trumpet players in the world, and there might be a lot of what they do that they don't even know how they do it themselves because they just have a natural talent. So that was Maynard Ferguson, couldn't teach his own son trumpet, had to send him away to be taught by somebody else. Maurice André, same thing. Had to send his son away to be taught by somebody else. So I hope that highlights and turns a light bulb that just because you're looking at someone and going, oh my God, they're such an awesome trumpet player. And they're the best in the world. I got to take lessons from that person. You might want to take a lesson just to say that you had a lesson with them. But here comes the point two of this discussion today. You can take lessons from them and expect to get great results as long as they have students that can demonstrate what they learned from them. So that's part two of this video. So part one was find a trumpet lesson teacher who is the expert at what you want to accomplish on trumpet. Right? We already discussed that. Number two would be to find a trumpet teacher who has demonstrated through his students or her students how well he or she teaches trumpet. And if you use this two-prong approach, you won't go wrong. But what you're going to do is you're going to become a little bit frustrated. For example, one of the most popular trumpet lesson teachers out there right now, and I'm not going to mention his name, but he does happen to live way down under from where we live here in the U.S. If you go to his site, it's got a ton of actually good information, good material. I don't doubt that he can actually teach, pretty decently. Also, he's a wonderful player. But if you notice on his site, he has a lot of accolades from famous trumpet players like Wayne Bergeron. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones. I think Bobby Shew, Wayne Bergeron, Arturo Sandoval. Now, whenever I see that, I'm always suspect of it because did Arturo take this guy's courses and go through it and make sure they're up to snuff and that students can learn? He sure as hell didn't. Did Wayne Bergeron do that? No. Did Bobby Shew go through his stuff and spend 2, 3, 4 weeks on it just to make sure? No, he didn't. What likely happened is that this particular individual knows these high caliber celebrity trumpet players, and it's called the Good Old Boys Club. They're friends. They know how each other plays. They know each other's personalities, and you got a little back slapping, right? A little elbow rubbing. And they might have just checked his stuff out briefly and said, yeah, we know this guy. He's a great trumpet player. Yeah, obviously this stuff looks good. We're going to say this stuff is great. And they're going to put their John Hancock on it. That doesn't mean that the stuff actually is going to help you reach your goals. You need to have something different. So when you're looking at trumpet lessons and trumpet teachers, especially online, I guess it doesn't even really matter, in person, you want to make sure there are students that have taken lessons from this particular individual and can demonstrate what they learned, what they achieved. That is really highly critical. It's much more critical than having Arturo Sandoval pat him on the back and say, yeah, good job, man, this is some great stuff, awesome. Yeah, I mean, Good Old Boys Club, right? They know each other. Arturo didn't take his course, come on. Let's be real. So that is critical. So how do you do that? They call it product reviews or testimonials. Testimonials is kind of the old school way of doing it. Testimonials and product reviews. Now they break down into a couple different categories: written product reviews and written testimonies, or more lately, it's video reviews. And which is the best? Video, of course. Because in a video review of a trumpet lesson teacher, you're going to be able to hear and watch the student talk about the course and play and show what they learned. That's really, really important. You can't really fake that, right? Now, I'm not saying that written testimonials are fake, because I have written testimonials and written product reviews on my site. They're not fake, but obviously someone could just, type it out and throw it on there, right? So I would recommend that if you're trying to find the best, because you're going to be spending money on this, if you're trying to find the best trumpet lesson teacher for you, for what you want to accomplish, at least find someone who has students that have gained what you want to gain from this particular trumpet teacher. Excuse me. And that would be in the best way of product review or video reviews and written testimonials. I submit to you, if they only have written testimonials, here's what you need to do for your investigation. Get the full name of that person and Google that name, or YouTube search that person, and you can put trumpet after it. So if it's like Joe Blow, wow, I took this guy's stuff and it really helped me out a lot. I did this and I got this out of it and I got this out of it, blah, 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 blah. Well, take Joe Blow and put Joe Blow in a Google search and then add trumpet to it and see what comes up, or go to YouTube. You want to find this guy's playing, or her. It could be, a female as well. You want to find their playing somewhere, and how do they sound? How do they really sound? So this is really highly critical. I get to toot my own horn here right now, because in my 16-week trumpet upper register high range course that I've been doing for over 5 years now, based on the criteria laid out in this video that you're watching right now, it is the most successful trumpet upper register course in history. I'm not even blinking when I say that. It really is. And one reason that can be proved, it's not by me saying it, it's by all the students that have taken the course and got from above average to incredible results in the course. Some students have had much better success with my own techniques than I did. What I mean by that is, in 4 months that the course takes to accomplish, there's never been a span in my life where I went by and worked hard for 4 months and gained an octave in range. Never happened to me. Zero, I'll be honest, zero. Never happened. But I've had people come in to this course raw and fresh and green, and after 4 months, I got a couple of standout trumpet players that have gotten an octave in range, believe it or not. And my latest superstar is a student that gained 9 notes, so an octave and 1 note. That's incredible, folks, if you think about it. I mean, I don't know how they do it. I mean, I would love to be able to do that. So I'm tooting my own horn here, but guess what? If you check out some of the links below in the description of this video, you'll see that, yeah, I'm just making you aware of the course, and that it is the best and most proven course in the world right now for increasing your trumpet range and your trumpet high notes and endurance. But I'm saying that I'm the teacher of the course and the originator of the course, but when you click on some of the links, you're going to see player after player after player talk about, demonstrate it. It's just pretty phenomenally amazing. It really is. And I'm talking close to 50 different trumpet players, and also other brass from different levels. Some of these guys are professionals, some of these guys are doctors, attorneys, accountants, and some of them are freshmen in high school. So it's just pretty amazing. So I just had to put in my own little plug there. And when you research me, for example, I actually can demonstrate and play this thing as far as being proficient in the upper register and the extreme upper register. And you can watch me do it. I've done it in front of, large audiences. I've done it in the studio. And then I make these interesting little YouTube clips, and I'll play some trumpet high notes on them or whatever. So basically, I can demonstrate it, and then, but how do you know if I can teach it? Maybe I'm just a hot dog trumpet screamer that likes playing high notes. How do you know if I can actually, impart that wisdom? It's because of the students that have gone through my course, that have taken the course and become extremely successful at expanding their upper register and their trumpet high range. So I hope this trumpet lesson tutorial hit home some obvious, logical but most oftentimes elusive points that, and I'm recapping right now, so if you've been writing this down, you can shake your hand out a little bit, and then, okay, get ready, here we go. So finish writing down here some notes. Got to find the trumpet lesson teacher that actually can play the way you want to play. That's number one. Number two, you want to verify and ascertain that this particular trumpet lesson teacher has success at teaching. So not only can they play that well, but they can impart that wisdom and education and pedagogy to the trumpet student via their trumpet lessons. And if you follow this advice, whether it's you like my program, I'm not assuming that you're wanting to increase your trumpet upper register. You might be wanting to become the best jazz trumpet player in the world, and you really want to become the next Chet Baker or Miles Davis. So I'm not assuming that you're wanting to, become the next Maynard Ferguson or something like that. But whether it's me or whether it's something else, you want to use this two-prong approach. And I will promise you, if you follow the advice that I'm giving here, you will come up and start taking lessons, trumpet lessons, with the best trumpet teacher in the world that you can find. And what's so cool about online is you can find the best trumpet lesson teacher in the world for you. And think about it, folks. You're going to be spending time practicing, and you're going to be investing money in this teacher and the trumpet lessons. And you want to get the biggest bang for your buck, right? It's obvious. So it was good to talk with you in this video blog, the vlog, about how can you find the best trumpet lessons by the best trumpet teacher. And I hope it all made sense to you. I think the time that you invested here, just sitting and listening to me talk about this, is just going to pay huge dividends back in your playing, the efficiency, saving you time, money, and being with the right person, whether it be a he or a she. There are plenty of women out there that can teach and play just like men. So don't be closed-minded. Keep your mind open to anybody that can play the way that you want to play on the trumpet, and they could probably teach trumpet lessons if verified by their students. So I'm Kurt Thompson. It is a pleasure giving you some advice on this. I got a couple more videos that are going to be coming after this one, so do look for that. If you have any questions, of course, you can email me at kurt@TrumpetSizzle.com. My name is spelled K-U-R-T, and then at TrumpetSizzle.com. But I usually throw some links right down in the description. So they should be there in the first couple of lines, and you can click on some different links. And anyway, I wish you all the best in tackling and mastering this guy.